What's going on, YouTube? Chris here. Want to bring you all an update of Bitcoin. Right now we're sitting at 9,839. We're up 0.31%. And what I want to talk to you about today is the potential resistance area that we just broke through. So now what we need to do is find support off that area and go up and challenge this next spot of $10,000. And obviously, as we look at Bitcoin, $10,000 psychologically is a huge number for us. Whenever we're below that, it acts as very strong resistance. When we're up above that, a lot of times it'll act as strong support. So it's a big indicator telling us where the market's at, whether we're in that nice bullish uptrend and we're strong, or if we're dropping below that $10,000 and we're going to be finding resistance off it. So right now we're sitting only about $150 or so from that resistance area of $10,000 psychologically. And if you continue to read in books about charting and chart patterns and different things like that, what you'll realize is that Bitcoin, when it breaks out, guys, it runs extremely hard, both to the upside as well as the downside. And whenever it breaks through resistances, a lot of times it'll want to make that next leg up extremely fast. And that's how this market works. It moves extremely fast to the upside, extremely fast to the downside, and you just have to be prepared. But what I'm happy about right now is Bitcoin on the one-day chart, and that's what we're on right now, is still holding its uptrend. And we're going to get into all that, guys. If you get some from this video, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Appreciate you all being here with me today, and we'll get into this. And also, I wanted to point out that after I release this video, because guys, I'm going to put it out right after I'm done, I'm going to be answering questions in the comments for about 10 minutes. I have 10 minutes and I have to go pick up my son, but I wanted to just let you know that I'll be in there for about 10 minutes. So if you have any comments or questions, put it down low. I'll answer those the best that I can. So let's dig into this. First of all, the main thing I'm paying attention to, you guys know I'm huge on trend lines. So right here, this teal trend line, we are still up in it. We had 3 points of contact. We are still just grinding and cruising up above it. In the last video for Bitcoin, we were measuring this, and we were taking note that it is less than 45 degrees, the angle. So this is actually a very strong trend line right now. It's not up too steep at 55, 60 degrees or anything like that. It's a nice, healthy uptrend that we're dealing with, and we've been having those higher highs and higher lows put in. Now, the resistance that I was talking about breaking was this right here. So this area that we'd been at before, we're going to go off the real bodies, and that's at 9,539. We broke through that, and what you're seeing now, it's almost like it's called an advanced candle formation. And what's happening here is we're having a little bit of a sell-off. It's called an advanced block. I believe that's what it's called, guys. But as you continue to go up, the candles are actually getting smaller, and you're seeing that fight and volumes tailing off a little bit right now. So that may show you that we may have to consolidate in this area a little bit before we make that next move up. That's critical for us. And also in terms of support, so say something crazy happens and we start breaking down through, I want to see, number one, this trend line hold. Then I would want to see that $9,500 hold as well. We don't want to start dropping down through previous areas that we just broke up through on a nice looking belt hold line candle there, which is a strong candle. So that's something that's important. We're also up above our 20, our 40, our 50, and our 200-day moving average. So that's a really big deal that the trend is up, the moving averages are up, the river is up. Remember, that's how we always look at these moving averages. Just like over here, the moving averages were down, the river's down. Now you can see that change where they crossed, and now we're making those nice strong moves to the upside. So for me personally, I don't want to see us break down through that 200-day moving average. We finally got back up above that. It's extremely important we stay up above that, because if we don't, that'll show the bulls did not have enough strength to stay up above that. And that's what long-term investors are looking for. They want to see us up above that 200-day moving average, as well as this 20, 40, and 50. I'd say most important, that 50 and that 200, that's what we want to stay up above. And we potentially have a golden cross that could form here in the next week or so to come. As you see, this 50 has the potential of crossing over this 200 moving average, so that'd be a really good thing for us. But in terms of overall, we're looking at $10,000 psychologically as overhead resistance. If we can get through that, find support on it, we look up to 10,905. And then, like I said, for support, we're looking at 9,539, and we'd also be looking at that 200-day moving average at 8,855. That's going to be important. Now, one hesitant thing that I wanted to put out there for you that I'm a little bit hesitant about is, as this price has been going up, we're not having huge swells of volume. You can actually see the volume tailing down a little bit. So it's going to be important for us that the volume picks back up and we can really start making these moves. Also, I want to point out, on the relative strength right now, we are at 70, so we are in that overbought territory like I've talked to you before. I like to play over 80 is overbought and under 20 is oversold in the cryptocurrency space because of how volatile it is. And as you've seen before, we can have runs up into the 90s. Just like back in here, we made it up to 88 before. Back over in here, we made it up to 90. So sometimes you can say, all right, we're at 70. We're in that overbought condition. I'm going to sell out right now. And then we can still have another 10, 15% move to the upside just because of that RSI is at 70. It can make it up to 85 or 90 just because of how extreme this space can get. So I always like to go off price action and the trend and the moving averages, and then I'll start looking at that RSI, because there's been many times where the RSI is at, close to 70, and I say, all right, the candle formations are looking good, the trend's looking good, the moving average is looking good, but because we're at that 70, I'm not going to jump in. And I have missed opportunities on that before. And what you like to do when we're in that overbought territory, if you're going to jump into a position because you believe it's going to continue to run to the upside, put one of those, real tight stop losses in. So say, guys, you even jumped in right in here, you'd put a stop loss down below this bullish belt hold line candle. That was almost like a bullish engulfing candle of the previous days, but you'd put a stop down in here at 8,990, somewhere like that, with the anticipation that this trend would continue to move to the upside. And if not, then you get stopped out and you look for another opportunity. But if I jump in to a play like that, I always like to use a tight stop loss at that previous higher low that you set, because if you start breaking down through that, then the trend will most likely be changing and you'd want to reassess your situation anyways. That's what I like to look at least. But you can see out of this 6-month downtrend here, we had our inverted head and shoulders. That was our bottoming pattern ever since we've been in an uptrend. So that's what we need to continue to hold, is that uptrend. And then when we go into here on TradingView, we'll look at the technicals. I want to point a few things out to you. So on the 1-day chart, we're having 4 for a sell signal, we're having 7 for a neutral, and we're having 17 for a buy. So these are all the signals right here. You can see our oscillators: 3 for sell, 6 for neutral, 2 for buy. And then our moving averages, that's a strong buy, 1 sell, 1 neutral, 15 buy. And the reason for that is because on the moving averages, we're up above all those important ones, that 20, that 40, the 50, and the 200. So that'll show you. And then I wanted to push us out to the week and kind of see what this is looking like here. So for the week, we're looking at 1 sell, 10 neutral, 17 buys. The oscillators are neutral. We have a 1 sell, 9 neutral, 1 buy. And then the moving averages, yet again, that's going to be 0, 1, and 16. So that's really strong in terms of a potential buy for Bitcoin when you're looking at those moving averages and you're looking at those oscillators and different things like that. The only thing I'm concerned about, like I said, is the volume and that RSI being up around 70. So could we calm down or cool down a little bit before we make that next move? Absolutely, that's a possibility. But right now the trend still is up, and we would anticipate that this trend will continue to be up until we start breaking down through this trend line and this 200-day moving average, which is going to be important. But you can see we have a lot of potential golden crosses here. Our 20 crossed over our 200, so that's good. And then we'd be looking for our 400 to cross over that 200, and then ultimately that 50 crossing over that 200. But that's how the trend changes. Do you see how all these moving averages right here were pressing down on us as overhead resistance? And right in this area, you have them all cross. And since that area, we've made a strong move to the upside. So even if you jumped in at this first candle close on the 1 day, up above these moving averages, once they crossed, that would have had you in at around $7,800. We're looking at $9,800 now. So that would be a $2,000 profit if you're playing a full Bitcoin, or break it down regardless of how much you're playing there. Just, do the math on that and you can see. But, if you're playing a full Bitcoin position there, that's a massive gain just from looking at moving averages, looking for a candle close confirmation up above it, and then you would stay in this until you see a trend line break or the breakdown through the trend line as well as the moving averages. That's what a book I have. It's called Technical Analysis. That's just what it's called, is Technical Analysis, or Technical Analysis of Stock Trends. And they talk all about that, to where you want to stay in a position if you're still in the uptrend, that we are right now, and we're still up above this 50 and this 200-day moving average. There would be no reason to sell out right now, because you're riding the trend, you're with the trend. You want to continue that trend for as long as possible until it starts to peter out and then go down and start breaking the trend line in those moving averages. So, guys, this is what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. I'm anticipating the trend continuously moving up. I want to see us challenge that $10,000 range. If we have a little pullback or cool down, I wouldn't be that surprised by it, due to the fact we're at 70 on the RSI. We may need a little relief there so that we can gear back up and make a nice strong strong move to the upside, because remember, that's how this market works. It has to have breathing periods. So after a long, strong candle like this, you can see we had about a week where we cooled down. We made it all the way up to $9,200, and we calmed all the way back down to $8,200. So there's times you can have as much as $1,000 sell-off while you're still in this uptrend, allowing that market to breathe before you potentially could have that next push to the upside. So guys, that's what I like to look at here. If you get something from this, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let's see if we can go up there, hit that $10,000, and then see where we go from there. If we can make it up to over top of that $11,000, which would be the next key overhead resistance, then like I said, $9,539 as support we would want to see hold. So you guys take care. God bless each and every one of you. I appreciate y'all being here with me today. Take care.